Hey everybody, welcome back. So we are on week 4 algorithms, which is module 6. So I'm super excited for this one. They look pretty interesting this time. So the first one is called it's Palindrome. Let's go ahead and open this up. So we have our README, we have our test, which we're going to open up in live server right there. And we need our script. Let's go ahead and get our coding environment ready. Cool. So for the README, open is palindrome. In this file, you will write, okay, return true if the given string is a palindrome, return false if it's not a palindrome. So a palindrome is basically, or the word forward is the same as it is backwards. So it's giving it to us as a string. So there's a couple ways we can do this. The probably the simplest thing that comes to mind is just leveraging JavaScript's tools to basically check if the string is the same forward as it is backward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare backward string equals str dot, I think we can do this, str dot split on that, and then we have an array dot map. So the reason I'm mapping because I want to make a hard copy of this, and then dot reverse. And now we will console.log backward string and string. Okay, so this is our backward string, and this is our forward string. So engage, and this is its backward. So now we need to check if backward string dot join on that is equal to string return true, else return false. And there you go. Pretty straightforward. So basically what we did is we split the string into an array. So let's just console log along the way. String, we'll comment this out. And first we're given our string. Then what we did is we split it up. So we get an array of strings. And so what I'm doing here is I'm simply making a hard copy of because sometimes if you just set a value to var string, I shouldn't do that, backward string equals string dot split. On occasions when I've run into this, where sometimes if you make changes to backward string, it also affects the original string because it still has a reference to it. So what map will do is basically make a hard copy. And if you want to know the difference, so hard copy versus soft copy coding. So hard copy, soft, okay. Maybe it's a deep copy. Yeah, deep versus shallow, not hard versus soft. Okay. Shallow. Yeah, so this is a really good example. So this is a shallow copy where the although you set this equal to that, its information still have reference to the original. And so what we want is basically like this. So we want two individual data structures that when we manipulate data, it won't have any reference back to the original value. And that's what the map does here. So I'm sure we can console log that. So let's go ahead and do that. Map x points to x, and it should be exactly the same. And now when we reverse it, we're simply reversing the array. So now we see engage is backwards, and then when we join it back together, we basically put it back as a string. So pretty useful use of the JavaScript methods. So I like doing that. Okay, so that's one solution that we have there. Let's work on another solution. The next solution we're gonna basically compare. So let's do that. We have to think about this for a second. That if we are gonna compare on, I think we can compare on length. Let's do this console.log string dot length. I don't think dot length. Oh, it is. You can dot length on a string. Okay, so what we need to do is so we need to get the midway point of 5, which is which is end up going to be 2.5. So what we want to do is we're going to loop through there I equals 0, where I is less than string dot length I plus plus. So if we do this, we want to check the first value against the last value. We can either declare again a hard copy of the string where var string where backward string equals string dot map of x on x, and I think we can do this even though it's not a backward string. Yeah, we can't do that. So yeah, we can't really do that. We have to do dot split first. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, the other way we could do it is like this, where we check each value against it. So basically, if string at I equals string at well, backward string at string dot length minus 1, do nothing else, return false. Now that's gonna mess up halfway through. Oh no, it should be the same. Do nothing, and then otherwise, so output equals true. So we let output equal true, output equals false, and then as soon as it equals false, we want to leave the loop. Otherwise, the output, we don't do anything. Okay, because we set the value to true, and then we can just I'm going to return false. We don't even need an output. I think that should work. So let's give it a try. So that did not work because of this. The way I really want to do this is kind of like this. So we only want to check half the array at a time. So string.length divided by 2, and we want the math.floor of that. And then we do that, and then we can check against the previous value. Return true. Okay, let's do it like this. Output equal false. Break. And we'll do here, because we're never checking output equals true. And let output. And then here we will return output. Okay, so that works. So let's console log string at I and backward string at string dot length minus 1 right there. So R and R, and then A and R. Oh wait, that's my issue. There you go. Minus 1 minus I. There you go. So that should work. So R and R, A and A, and then E and E, and then G. And then we will return output. Oh wait, because we never updated it. Minus 1 minus I. Okay, so that's the other way you would do it. It's kind of backwards, where this will work for basically any value. So string.length. So yeah. So it's checking one array against the other. That's like a really bad way to do it, because you go through the entire array against the length. So we will just clean this code up. So we don't need that. We can just, as soon as we hit false, we can break, and then we'll set output to true, and then we can return the output. So that's another way we can do it. The other way is very similar to this, where we can basically just loop through. So for var I equals 0, so let's comment this out. So let's just split up our solutions. So var I equals 0, where I is less than, so now we're only going to check halfway through the array, so string.length divided by 2, and we want the floor of that, math.floor. So if it's odd, let's say since we have a length of 5, we only want to check 2 because the middle one is obviously not going to matter, and if it's even, math.floor does not care about that really. So, and then I++. So again, very similar. We're gonna basically see if string at I equals string at I string at string dot length -1 minus I, do nothing. We'll do does not equal, and we will return true. And then here, now let's return false. I think this will work. Nope. What did I do wrong here? I did it backwards. Return false, return true. Yeah. Okay, so this is another way you can do it, where it's just like this, except we're not comparing two arrays. We're comparing just a string against half its length, and this is basically just reversing the array and just checking if they're equivalent, basically. So that's the first algorithm. So we'll move on to the next algorithm. So for the next algorithm, we're doing an algorithm called Factorial, and basically what we need to do is return the factorial of the given number integer. A factorial is a number of the products of all the positive integers. So if we're given 6, the following number should be returned. If we give 3, we should get 6, because 3 times 2 times 1. We can do that. So yeah, let's figure that out. So the first thing that comes to mind is something like a reduce. So we can basically create an array, and then we can reduce it. So for var I equals 0, well, we'll set I equal to the number 1 minus 1. Oh no, we don't want, yeah, we'll set it to, we'll set it equal to the number where I is less than array, well, I is greater than, how do we want to do it? Well, I is array dot length I plus plus. Let's just set this to 0, and then well, I is less than number. Yeah, that's perfect. Number minus 1. We're going to do it like this. So, so what we want to do is basically create var array equals an empty array. So we'll do array dot push. So we want to push the number value, and then the reason we're doing it at 1 is because we don't need the value of 0, and we don't need the value of 1. So we might end up doing 2, but let's see what this console logs at the end. Console.log array. Okay. Number and number minus minus. So 4, 3. So we'll instead do number. Oops. I is less than number. 3 times 2. So what is number? Console.log num 4, 3, 0, and 1. So okay. So let's do a couple edge case tests. So if array equals if array dot length equals 1, then we will return 1. Else if array dot length equals 0, it's less than 1. We'll do less than 1. Less than 1, return 0. So that should pass 2 test cases. 1 y should return 1 when given 0. Return 1? Really? Okay, so we can make this even simpler. We can even do this, less than or equal to 1. So that deals with that. So we got 2 test cases down. The other 2, we just need to do array.reduce of previous and next, where previous times next, and then we will return that value. Okay. Expected 12 to deeply equal 24. Oh, okay. 4 times 3 times 2. So my question is, why is this not console log number? Oh, okay. Alright, I see. I see what's going on here. Okay, so var num equals var length equals num, and we'll call this length. There you go. So what we were doing, we were actually reducing the value of number. We shouldn't have done that. We should have just set length to be its own value, and then we will reduce number to do that. So this is a test case for array.length, where if it's less than or equal to 1, we will return 1, because 0 factorial is 1 and 1 factorial is 1. Okay, and now, yeah, that's basically it. Is there another way we can do this? Maybe. Let's give this a try. Yeah, so let's think for a minute. We're given a number and we need to multiply it with this number. Okay, so we can start with our same kind of thing here. So instead we'll do if num is less than or equal to 1, we will return 1. So that's our same test case. We can do that. Otherwise, we can basically return num times num minus 1. Return factorial. Oh, because it's anonymous. Factorial of number times num minus. Okay, so we'll return the way to do this recursively. Factorial of num minus 1. Oh, yep, that was it. So, yeah, this is the recursive way to do it. If we're given that, we will return 1. So, otherwise, we will return the number, which is not done until we finish this. So basically what this is doing, so on first pass, we will basically return number times, so let's say we'll start at 4, so we'll return 4 times factorial of 3. Okay, so that's fine, but then this factorial of 3 is also running times factorial of 2, so we will return times 2. And then by the time we get to times 1, we will return 1. So this is not going to do factorial of 1 because we know the factorial of 1 will return 1, which is fine. So 4 times 3 times 2. So this is a recursive solution. I'm glad I figured it out like right away. So I'm super happy about that because it's kind of tricky sometimes. But yeah, I don't think there's a third way to do this. There might be. Let me think for a minute here. Okay, let's do this another way. So yeah, let's do this another way. I think I can think of another way to do this. So no recursion, no cool functions like reduce. Let's actually do this the good old-fashioned, coding way. So we're given a number and we want to basically add it together. So let's do var total equals 0. We'll set it to 0. Okay. And we will basically do, again, we will do our same check. So if num is less than or equal to 1, all we're going to do is return 1. That's fine. We still have our original thing. Cool. Otherwise, we will do a for loop where var I equals 0. We'll set I equal to number, where I is greater than 1, I plus plus. Okay, so what we're gonna do is basically do total, we'll set total equal to number. And what we'll do is we'll do total equals number minus 1. We will set that equal to, because, we want to decrement. So we want to decrement this. And now we will set total equal to I times equal I. And then return total. Yeah, that's it. So if we console log total here, and we can take a look at how that works. So total on first iteration is 4, on second iteration is 3. Total on first iteration is 4, while I is 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. So then what we'll do, we'll take 12 and multiply that by 2. That'll return 24. And then 3 times 2 is 6. And because the last two test cases are 1, we will go ahead and do that. But I'm super happy that I figured out the factorial, like the recursive factorial right away. That was surprising for me. That was a bit intuitive for me, and I'm shocked because I haven't done recursion in a long time. But yeah, these were the 3 solutions. So let's move on to the final algorithm. So for the final algorithm, we have something called title case, where we have to return a string identical to the given string, but the first letter of each word is capitalized. So let's figure out the best way to do this. So if we just console log string, and let's see what comes up. I like to look at what our test cases are. I know that's not the best way to do it. Whoops, I think I forgot to open test. So open with live server. And we will go ahead and paste it there. Cool. So the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog and a Christmas carol. So, okay. So let's do this kind of the intuitive way, no funny business. So we will check, so first things first, so we will do let uppercase equals string at index 0 dot uppercase. And the reason why is because it's expected that the first letter is going to be, I'm going to assume that the first letter is always the first index is always going to include a letter. So given that, we will console.log uppercase, and we should see, oh wait, I'm being dumb. Alright, so 2 uppercase. Okay, so we only want the first letter to be. Cool. So that's only returning the first letter. So what we need to do is just split this. So we'll string.split. So if we split, we get all the letters. So what we'll do is we will uppercase at 0 dot to uppercase. Okay, so we need to set the initial index here, uppercase equals uppercase at 0 is going to equal that, and now when we console log everything, the first letter is console. Okay, I have to keep that in mind. So now we need to check and loop through this. So for var I equals 0, while I is less than the length of uppercase dot length, and we need to if uppercase at I equals that, then we need to, okay, so we need to think about this. So if we check the I value, then, well, we'll never face that issue because it's not expected to be a space at the end. Okay, so we can kind of approach this like this, but just in case, if like you have some weird test case, you want to check the previous value. If the previous value is has a space, then you want to go ahead and just do uppercase at I equals uppercase I dot to uppercase. If we console log uppercase, we're missing something in the syntax. Doing I++. We'll just, oh wait, we did the wrong equivalent. The quick brown fox, blah blah blah, and then we'll return return uppercase dot join, and that passed all our test cases. So let's talk this through. So what basically happened is we split the string first, and we did our initial test case where at index 0, which is assuming to be no space but the first letter of a word, you're going to uppercase that. That's just to get it out of the way. And then we loop through, and then we check the value of I minus 1. And if that contains a space, then the value of I has to be uppercase. And to do that, you set that I value to that I value to uppercase. Okay, let's do that. That's done. So let me think if there's another way we can really solve this. Console.log string.match of we want we only want that. So that gives us index of that, and we have not match, but we want the global value. So this is giving us all that. And then we can do, okay, so what we can do is we can kind of do the same thing where string at index 0 equals string at index 0 dot to uppercase. So that's our first value, and then we'll console.log string, and we should see it didn't change. String at 0 dot to uppercase. That worked. Why is it not updating the value? Let string equal, let uppercase equal string, and now uppercase at 0 to uppercase equals that. So no, we want to set uppercase to that. And now if we just check uppercase, uppercase does not update. String.map. I don't think we can do string.map. Yeah, no, we can't do that. String.split. Yeah, and now it updated. Okay, so we have to do that. So if we do console log string.match, we're given that. Okay, so string.match index. Cool, we can get the index that way. So we can do while string dot we limit while string dot match of this. Okay, so we can do uppercase dot index of this. Okay, let's see if this works. Console.log uppercase dot index of, and we want the space, and it gives us 3. So okay, so while uppercase dot index of the space does not equal -1, we want to delete let index equal that. Okay, and then once we check the index and we get it, we want to set the uppercase value of index +1 to equal uppercase. I'm gotta put uppercase dot index uppercase at index +1 dot to uppercase, and then we will delete index at uppercase. Okay, and now when we console.log uppercase, we get this thing, we get empties. So let's console.log uppercase at index 1. So that's undefined. So we will do uppercase dot replace all of undefined with that, and now console.log uppercase. Okay, we'll do this. In uppercase dot in, just so I can find it, index of undefined. Console log that. Doesn't exist. Is it a null value? Doesn't exist. Let's look it up. Okay, so I know how to get rid of this. So, for instance, if we do uppercase dot filter of that, and we point it to be true value, and we set uppercase equal to that, we get we console.log uppercase, we get that, right? So one thing we can do is true equals that. No, invalid left hand. False. The quick brown fox. That's not gonna help. Empty. Yeah, no. Let's do this. Type of console.log at index 0 at index 1. It's undefined. Let's just loop through it. So for var I equals 0, where I is less than uppercase dot length I plus plus, if undefined, if uppercase at I equals undefined, console.log I. Plenty of things. So uppercase at I equals that. And now we can return that. I thought the replace all function would do that. I thought it did earlier. We just want to join this together, I guess. And when we check it, yeah, we should get all of that. So again, another super roundabout way to do things. We set the first value to of uppercase 0 to uppercase 0 to uppercase. So that deals with the first value. We do a while loop where we check all the values. So we do a while loop where we check the index of all the spaces, and while that does not equal -1, we are going to set the index of that space, and then the value of that index plus 1, which is the next uppercase value, we want to set it to uppercase plus 1 to uppercase. So that's gonna set that first letter to be uppercase, and then we're gonna delete the index because we need to satisfy this this statement. Another way we can do it, instead of deleting it, we can just set it to uppercase index equals replace uppercase, instead of deleting it, equals replace. So that fails, but we don't break it. So now we can just simply do let's try this. I've never done this before. So replace is not working. But we want to use something like that. Let's just get rid of the return function, and let's do this. So uppercase equals uppercase dot map of the x value, where we want basically replace with equals that, and now console.log uppercase. Invalid left-hand assignment, can't do that. What if I did global? False, 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 and then I'm sure there's a true in there, right? Replace, and what if we change replace to like $, and we did that? Where x, oh wait, x equals, oh, I'm being dumb. So if x equals replace, so then we will set x equal to that, else just don't do anything. Otherwise just x. Try that. Okay, since we're doing $, we'll change it with replace. Yep, I finally figured out how to do a map. So using a ternary operator, we're going to basically map through it, and if x equals replace, we want to replace the x value with the space, otherwise x. So super cool. After we map, then we'll join it, and then return uppercase. Do we pass the case? Yay, we passed it. Okay, so this is a third way to do it. We don't need to filter. We don't need to do all that. That's too much work. Okay, so let's do that again one more time, but we are going to go ahead and do it a little bit differently. So we are going to, I'm going to comment this out, we're going to go back and we are going to let uppercase. We're basically going to copy the first two lines, essentially. Oops, copy, not remove. So copy that. We want that. So we have an uppercase string. Now we need to let uppercase. We're going to do uppercase equals uppercase dot map x at x index and array, where so if x equals space, we want to basically do the array index plus 1 is going to equal array index plus 1 array index plus 1 dot 2 uppercase, else just return x. Just return, yeah, that should be fine. Console.log uppercase the function, well, because we never called the function. Okay, the QQ. Okay, so we need to think this through. So if array index minus 1 equals that, then we want to set array index to that. Otherwise, yeah, that's what we want to do. The quick brown fox, blah blah blah, and then dot join, and then we will return. Oh, this is such a much better. So return uppercase, and that's it. 3 lines. That's it. And we're leveraging the map tool. We're leveraging join. We just set the first value to that, and then we're mapping the value. I love it. 3 solutions to this problem. It's a bit longer, but I really wanted to get through this and just try and figure out a good solution. So I hope this gave you some insight in how we can do things a little differently. So thank you for watching.